Roll call.
Clive Blakely.
Here.
Robert Powell.
Here.
Don Tice.
Here.
Frank Kellogg.
Here.
Joe Foster.
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Section 2, under presentations, item A is presentation of 2022-2023 school audit at Bledsoe and Gulfinson CPA Key LLP, and that will be done via a phone call. So Dr. Wilkins, I'll let you connect with them.
Hi Jesse, it's Dave Wilkins. You are on speaker. Our board meeting has started and we're ready for your presentation.
All right, perfect. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, somebody say something?
Yep, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. All right. bit of a decrease from the prior year of about $934,000. And total expenditures out of the general fund was $14,228,941, which again is also a little bit of a decrease over the prior year of about $223,000, which left you guys with an ending fund balance of $1,601,464, which again a little bit of a decrease over the prior year of $153,552. I'm going to jump to our next page, page 18. Page 18 is our special revenue funds income statement, or just your building fund. Again, same setup here with the revenues and expenditures to the left, and then the fund balances down there at the bottom. So actual revenues collected for the building from fiscal year 23 was $888,617. Was an increase of about $130,000 over the prior year. And total expenditures out of the building fund was $909,399, which was also an increase over the prior year of about $190,000, which left you guys with an ending building fund balance of $442,847, which was a decrease from last year of $18,540. With that being said, guys, I'm going to jump into the activity fund financial statements, and that's going to be on page 40. Excuse me. Page 40 here. This is your guys' activity fund statement. As you can see over here to the left, we have all of your, or each of your individual activity fund sub-accounts listed out. And then we have their respective balances here, beginning of the year balances, any additions or revenues, any transfers that were made between sub-accounts, the deductions or expenditures, and then the end of the year balance over there to the far right. So activity fund as a whole, looks like you guys started out the year with $300,114 and ended the year with $238,726. I'm going to jump into our next financial statement, and it's going to be on page 42. And page 42 here, this is our schedule of expenditures of federal awards, or TIFA as we call it. And this schedule here really just lists every single federal award that you guys were awarded during fiscal year 23. Now you can see those listed out there to the left. These first two columns here are just the listing number and the product number, but that third column over is what you were actually awarded for each program. Then that balance at July 1st is revenue that you guys received in fiscal year 23. That was a reimbursement for expenditures in the prior year, fiscal year 22. And then we have your actual revenues and expenditures, and then your balance at the end of the year, which is revenue that you guys actually received in this current fiscal year. That was a reimbursement for expenditures in fiscal year 23. You guys were single audit this year, or federal audit, since you did expend over $750,000 in federal money down there in that total expenditures column down there at the bottom. You can see you guys expended a total of $1,773,847, which did put you guys over that $750,000 federal audit threshold. So we did do a federal audit this year. you guys have any questions or concerns about the audit or anything for me?
No, I don't think I have any questions. I think we're good to go.
All right. Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jesse.
Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye.
Board, I am going to move to item C under presentations. It was the presentation by the High School Student Council regarding land.
Before they get started, we had the privilege of listening to these high school students speak at high school a little while back. Under the consent agenda, under fundraiser requests, there was several under high school student council. So they're presenting tonight basically to explain what that will fall under. And I wanted for you guys to hear them yourselves so we can understand why I'm kind of excited about what they're doing.
Hi, so my name is Cooper, and I'm a junior.
Hi, I'm Madeline, I'm a senior. I'm McKenna, I'm a senior.
And so we were wanting to host Oologah's first annual Philanthropy Week. And so the purpose of that would have a week-long event filled with fun events, a lot of fundraising, dress-up days, decorations, all that kind of stuff. And that would be to raise money for our local Make-A-Wish kid. And we actually have a Make-A-Wish kid within our own district that all the money and proceeds would go to. And we also feel that this would help unite the student body and kind of bring that greater sense of Mustang family. And so the name of this would be STAIN Week, and that stands for Striving to Achieve New Goals. And then, so when this would be, we talked with, like you said, with the principals and the superintendents, and we looked at the school calendar, and we feel that March 4th to 8th would be the best week for this week.
So a little bit about our week is the theme is Disney. So we'll be decorating the whole high school with Disney decorations. We've designated each hallway a certain Disney movie. We also will be having a district-wide door decorating contest. We'll probably have that the week prior, so all the doors are decorated, so when that week comes, it's all filled with joy. And then also, we'll have dress-up days for the whole district, which we've already talked about with the superintendent and our principals. And then we also will be selling a t-shirt, our STAIN Week t-shirt, which correlates with the kids' favorite color and the Disney theme.
We're also, the fundraising part of it, we are doing a raffle for the middle school, high school, and then that's it. So we're selling tickets through passing periods every day, that whole week leading up, so Monday through Thursday. And we will sell the tickets to them, and then they'll get a chance to enter that raffle from that ticket. And then we're selling an Xbox and a PS4. We're doing a coin drive for the lower, upper, and middle school. So kids and teachers will have a bucket or a Ziploc bag every day, and we'll collect the money at the end of the day. And kids can bring coins or dollar bills or whatever and put them in that, and it'll all go towards the Wish Kid. We are doing an event every night for high school and middle school. So we're doing a dodgeball tournament, color wars between grades, a community movie night in the auditorium. So we'll play Monsters Inc. for the community kids to come watch and sell concession stands, snacks, and drinks. And then we'll do a community game night. So in the lower gym, we'll have cornhole, spike ball, relay races, football toss, stuff like that for parents and kids to come and enjoy. We also will be reaching out to local businesses to see if they would like to donate and or help us get the word out to the community. That goes along with our t-shirts too. They're open to everyone in the community and all the staff members as well as the students. We are also doing a district-wide spring pep assembly. So the Friday the 8th, we will have a pep assembly stacked like we did our last all-school pep assembly. So lower and upper will come in first. We'll do a couple games with them, and then middle school and high school will come in. We'll do all of our raffling off of who won. We want to include the principals in it. So the building that raises the most money, the principal will kiss a pig from the ag barn. We are wanting to do that, and then at the end, the upper and lower will leave because of leaving times, and then we'll play some games with the middle school and high schoolers, and then just end it out with that. All of the proceeds are going to the Wish Kid for their wish, whatever it may be. A lot of kids either go on a trip with their whole family. They go, they ask for a new play set in their backyard, whatever their wish is, we're trying to raise money for that. All the money will count, so like the coin drive and the raffle, all that money will count at the end of each day. Someone else will count it, and then we'll give it to Miss Conley to count, and then she'll put it directly into our student council account. And at the very end of the week, so Thursday afternoon, before we announce all of the winners on Friday, we will have all that money moved and have a check written to give to Make-A-Wish. So all that money is directly going to Make-A-Wish. They also have a website that people can directly donate to. So when we post on social media, so on Instagram, community board, Twitter, all that kind of stuff, community members can directly donate instead of having to come to the nights or buy t-shirts or whatever. So if they just want to get some proceeds to the direct account, they can do that as well. Do you guys have any questions?
One of the questions we encounter will be the donations made by the community directly and so forth like that. If they're wanting to recognize this as a 501c tax deduction type thing and stuff, what is the response in being able to provide them with information that if they choose to do this as a tax donation as such, that they can utilize for that purpose?
So we'll try to inform them as much as possible about what the whole purpose of the week is, especially since our Wish Kid is someone that goes to school in Oologah. We really just want them to know that they're supported and loved by the peers that they go to school with, and by the community that they live in. So we'll try to inform them on that as much as possible. So when people are donating, they know what it's going towards.
Would they then in return receive some type of acknowledgement of their donation?
We can definitely do that.
They direct to the website, to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. They actually will get receipt emailed in from Make-A-Wish.
Anything that comes through the school, since it does go into our student council account, we can do a direct, from the school, we can do a donation receipt from that too.
And I just make sure that that's an important element for it.
Absolutely.
I don't recall the details of substance then. Raffles can get sticky, so make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's on raffles. And I'm also talking adults too. I mean, there's some stuff you got to work through on that. So I'm saying you guys did a great job putting it together, and I appreciate the team and appreciate the philanthropy idea too. So I work with Make-A-Wish Foundation as well. We do such a things we can at our church. So great cause. Do you guys have any other questions for them?
Great presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, thank you. Any other thoughts on that? Questions on that? There is something on the raffle.
There it is. It's relatively mixed. Not really what it is. It's been the last 10 years. I'll go back and double check. I've checked on it recently. I don't remember the exact information, but it's not too difficult to navigate.
Right. That's just our rules. Hopefully we get you to go to jail. Now, teachers.
I'll double check.
Thank you, Carl.
I'll double check.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's go back to item B, which is this month at OTBS.
Okay, we're seeing the sounders. This doesn't play, I'm telling you, we took this money and it's just fine. These have people on
Click on it, play it.
it's been like super.
Maybe close some of your tabs. You're pulling
It won't even let me close tabs.
part of it.
We might need a new computer here.
Control Alt Delete.
Okay,
Hang on.
let's see.
Let me get a hammer out of
Okay,
that.
hold on. Okay, it's working a little bit now. Let's see. Sarah, any genius ideas here? Okay.
All right, item D is recognize and hear from visitors. We have any signed in that wish to address the board. They're done. Item E, financial report.
Okay, so you have in front of you these two documents, general fund budgetary summary trends, and then revenue expenditure summary. So basically, I had Bree pulled this. We talked about there's two big things financially that we've done this year that is going to be a big help. Looking at the general fund budgetary summary trends, if you look at that front page, going from left to right, is our beginning fund balance, and then the piece I want to focus on is the bottom line. This is interest from all accounts. So in general fund, up until just the last couple of months, we haven't put any of the interest that we've made off of the money we've been investing into general fund. It's gone into building fund. And so if you'll switch to that second page, this is kind of our building fund summary. You'll notice in fiscal year 21, our interest from all of our accounts, we made about $682. So far this year, and if you'll add the fiscal year 24 there, and then on that front page, those two numbers, you get about $75,000, which is what we made off of investments this year. So part of that is getting ourselves to a point where we have enough money to invest without going out to warrants, that sort of thing. But then secondly is just being very smart with the money and the timing of the money. We get a large sum of money in January that we don't need to expend. So right now we've got a couple $1 million just sitting in the bank or in an investment drawing money. And so projecting about another $30,000 over the next month off of that money because it just sits there. And then we'll have another big infuse of money in April, and we'll do the same thing then. And then obviously through the summer, we have several different payrolls we have to run for teachers, and so some of that money dwindles down. We repeat it again next year. So again, you're talking $75,000 that's coming into the district that is just us making money off of our money that we don't get from the state, and it's just additional revenue that we have to running that into general fund. We've tried to increase some of our salaries for our paraprofessionals. We're looking at janitors and secretaries and some other support for next year. How can we help them out? How can we increase their pay? And doing these kind of things is how we're able to do that. The second piece of that is the other page that we have. If you'll notice, we got two different pages there. The front page is child nutrition financial information for this year. The second page is last year. Let's go to the second page. If you notice the third column from the right, that's basically money in, money out as it balances out. We lost $101,000 in child nutrition last year. Child nutrition should at very least break even. If you'll notice that on that front page, so far this year, we've increased by $87,000. So it's a swing of almost, if you look at it on a 2-year cycle, a swing of almost $180,000 last year versus this year so far. And we feel like that will even out a little bit as the year progresses, but still, even if we were to break even this year, you're talking an increase of $100,000. So in our financial audit, where it showed we dropped a little over $100,000 last year, this quickly makes that up, puts us at an even level, not even including some of the other stuff that we have going. So things are very looking really good. Bree has done a really good job. We spent a lot of time this year focused on how can we have our money make money, how can we continue to just keep things healthy so we can take care of our people and take care of our stuff. So that's what she'll notice the show for tonight. We're projecting right now about a $2 million carryover this year. We'll see how that shakes out. I don't think it'll be quite that high, but as of right now, the numbers that we're putting in is what we're seeing.
Okay. Questions? So the child nutrition, that's July to year to date, basically.
Yes, sir.
That's the way they two compare. Does anything usually show up in the spring that would make that trend different?
No, there's no big expenditures that we have for the spring months. In general fund, the only thing that we have that does that is our salaries, because in June we have to pay our June, July, August salaries for our teachers. So there's a huge expenditure that comes out in the middle of summer or beginning of summer. It's not that way in child nutrition because we only have 3 employees that are still child nutrition. It's pretty small.
Has we're in the second semester, the outsourcing that, I'm assuming that's part of the reason why we're $180,000
So
ahead.
absolutely. The piece of that that's done well, it is outsourcing it, but it's also the software that they have, they're able to look at what it costs per plate to produce. When they can literally put in a menu and it'll tell them how much it costs per plate to make that. And so they know kind of here's the threshold. I honestly don't know what that number is. Let's say $2 a plate. Well, they know they put it all in and it comes up at $3 a plate. No, let's reconfigure that and look at it another way. And so it allows our people and their people to just break it down per plate. And we didn't have that technology, we didn't have that software or that knowledge to do that. So it's just kind of guessing and trying, and we're not even really looking at it, to be honest.
Like food quality is meeting the food standards.
I think I think I've not received a lot of phone calls recently, so I think it's been pretty good from everything I've heard. I don't know, principals okay for now. We're working on it too.
I mean, when it started, I know we had a lot of issues with it, so we had to kind of work
A lot of stuff is smoothed out. Yeah, I think having the people that we have in place, like here a while back, they made something, put it out there, a couple of kids got it, and then Monica tested it, and she's like, no, this is nasty. We cannot serve this. This is terrible. So they pulled it, put something else out. Right? And so just to say that, we're not going to just keep serving that, right? People make mistakes. That was the recipe they had for it. They put the recipe together, and it just didn't turn out good. And so we make mistakes. They pulled it, they put something else out, and we're not ever using that recipe. So I think doing those kind of things is how we continue to do better. I mean, they're very hands-on with ensuring that things are done the way they need to be done.
Are you happy?
I am, absolutely.
If I recall, that was a 1-year contract for 40 years renewable. Is that right?
Any contract that we have is put together that way.
Yes. Can they increase their cost or their charge? Is there anything that lets them change that over the next 4 years, 5 years?
So built into law is a percentage increase per year, kind of a cost of living. I don't know, it's like a 3% increase, which will probably happen. But it's, again, any group that we outsource to has the right to do that same increase.
So they have a fixed budget where they have to meet the plate demand. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So this plate's going to be $2. Can we raise that if we have to get better food?
That's a good question. I don't know that.
Because
Probably not, because we have a contract with them for a certain amount per meal that's served.
right. I mean, next year if we say, okay, this is not enough to feed these kids, we need to add a little bit more in the budget so the kids can we do that?
I don't think so, to be honest. I think we would have to go, because any substantial financial change, it has to go back out a bit. So, I mean, we always have to, at that point, if we felt like the quality wasn't where we wanted to be, we would just have to drop them, or just go back out a bit. Didn't say now, which was.
Any questions? Okay, I'm going to move this on. Item H, Assistant Superintendent's Report.
Well, this is not working, but I will email it to you. Let me tell you though, in putting this presentation together, it's like 30 slides because we have had in the last month so many amazing things happening around this campus. Athletics, arts, academics, robotics, ag, you name it. Every group has been busy at something and successful at whatever the thing is that they're doing. So I do want you to see it because if you follow our social media, I mean, there are days I could post 6 or 7 things, different groups, different things going on in classrooms a day. So there is a lot of really good things going on our district, and I'm proud. And every time that I put these together and I go back and that's sort of what I based off as our social media for that past month, and it makes me very proud. of our teachers, of our kids, of our staff, of our families, and our community, because there are so many good things, and our kids are succeeding in all of them, which is awesome. Okay, so I'll start by talking about professional development. I do have a little handout for each of you. Just a few things in the world of professional development. I'm excited. You guys are going to see the proposed school calendar tonight, obviously approve or not approve it. If it's approved, I do think our new, or the calendar for the upcoming school year gives us the opportunity to rethink the way that we've been doing professional development here. Our professional development calendar has pretty much looked the same since I came to Oologah 15 years ago. If anybody's been here for any amount of time, you can almost know what it's going to be before you even get here to come back to school for the school year. It's kind of very similar in process and content. And we've been doing some committee work over the course of the past couple of months. We've gotten a lot of feedback from teachers about professional development, and what they're saying to us is that they want more site-specific, intentionally planned professional development for their building or the age of the kids that they work with. And we're hearing that pretty much at every site. We've done a little bit of that this year, and I think it's been very meaningful to teachers, trying to target the training that we're giving them to what they see every single day. So we want to continue to do that, and that's a goal for me for professional development next year, is to be able to go to the sites, go to the principals, and say, what do your teachers and your staff need in your building, and let's go find that. There's nothing wrong with the big deal in the auditorium and we're all in there together, and that's a great way to kick off the year. But if teachers are going to put time, especially at the beginning of the year, which is limited, into training, I want to make sure, I feel an obligation to make sure that it's as meaningful for them as it can possibly be. So this proposed calendar kind of gives us a bit more time for some meaningful professional development, and also for collaboration time among teachers, which I think is so crucially important. I truly believe, and I could argue this probably to the death, that we have experts here on our campus who can provide better training for our teachers and staff on our campus than somebody that we bring in from the outside. We have such amazing instructional teachers who are great at the in the classroom thing. We've got teachers who are great at building relationships with kids. We've got mental health professionals. We've got great leadership. But I feel like we could almost transition a little bit from the model of bringing people in or sending people online to get professional development to using our people who understand our school, which I think is crucially important, right? If we're going to do training, if we can understand how that topic applies to Oologah, that's awesome. So I'm excited about that. We also know that we need to be respectful because we've got some big changes coming over the summer. Obviously, we've got lots of classrooms moving. We want to make sure teachers have time to prepare themselves for the school year, and we have a new math curriculum that's being adopted. So I'm going to make sure that those teachers have time. We talked about that in January, to get good training on that curriculum before the school year starts and make sure that they are prepared to hit the ground running whenever we get back in August. Another thing professional development-wise is we talked again about this a little bit in January. We've had several teachers express an interest, actually almost 40 teachers sign up for an active shooter training, which we're going to be provided through the Rogers County Sheriff's Office. Officer Tice is helping us with that, and I sent out just a really informal survey to see what sometimes people think that they might want to participate in that, and then it really gets down to it. It's pretty intense training. I wasn't sure exactly how many people we would really want to participate in that, over 40, and that's not including administrators. That's just classroom teachers and support staff that want to participate in that. So the RCSO is going to provide us with at least 2 different training opportunities over the summer, and the potential to add a third, to give people lots of dates that they can choose from, make sure that they are able to go to that training if they want to. So questions about professional development? Anything?
I got a couple questions.
Yes.
On here, it says you have nearly 40 staff members have indicated that they want to participate. How many staff members do you have? So 40 out of how many is okay with this?
Support and certified together, it's about 200 total.
So you're saying 40 out of 200 approved this one. So that's not really a good, indicated that they all want this.
Well, it's optional. They don't have to do it. So it's just an optional training that they can do if they want to. If they don't want to, they don't. It's not like a state required or a district required.
This is not a mandatory for our teachers to do.
No, it's just an optional thing they could do if they wanted.
Okay. And then I got some questions about calendars and all that stuff. And the calendar later.
questions about professional development? All right, federal programs, we're working really hard on that and trying to get all of those funds extended definitely before the year's over to get any materials that we've ordered in, anything like that. We've been working really hard on our homeless funds. Mr. Epke's been getting all of the items that we put in the budget for that. Ms. Rogers and I actually have a team, have been working on our school security grant and getting everything that we have put in the budget for that as well. We did find out today that we've gotten a little over $5,100 in extra funds from the IDEA, which that will help us. If you'll remember, we had to bring on an additional speech language pathologist. That won't cover her fee completely, but that will certainly help cover a little bit of the expense from bringing on that additional person. And we are moving on the school security grant. One of the products that we're really excited about, we've needed for a while, is a visitor management system. So helping us to keep better track of visitors when they come on campus. Lots of other schools have these if you've gone in, where you've got to sign in or scan your ID or whatever, and it checks databases for each person that enter your school, keeps track of what time they've come in, gets them a badge. We did presentations from a couple of different vendors, and the one that we liked the best was called School Safe ID. They're in hundreds of schools in Oklahoma, and they already integrate with Sylogist, which is our student information system. So we're going to pilot their visitor management system at the lower elementary and the high school for the rest of the year. We picked those two sites because we figured the lower elementary probably has the most parents coming in, and then the high school we could pilot it with students and see how it works with kids who might need to be coming in and out. So we're going to see how that goes and then make a decision for going into next year whether or not we like that product. And they do have some additional products that we're a little bit interested in, some things to help with car line in the afternoon and that kind of thing. But we want to see how it goes with this visitor management first and just kind of try it out and see if we like the company, if we like customer support and all of that. So questions on federal programs? Okay, and then teaching and learning. We are in the home stretch. We are in the final few days of choosing our math curriculum, which you know has been an ongoing process for us for several months. I want to say a huge thank you to Ms. Noble, who has really taken the lead on that and has arranged several presentations from vendors, has done a great job organizing this entire process. She's really knocked it out of the park, and she even arranged for parents to come and view the samples that we were deciding between. So we've had those set out here. We had parents come and view and give us some feedback on what they like, which I think was really important. So we should be making a decision on a math curriculum by the end of this week is the goal. Our goal is the final committee meeting would be Friday during distance learning. We're going to meet with elementary at one time, secondary at one time, and see what they want to do. We kind of have an idea what we think that they might want to do, but you never know. So we'll be doing that towards the end of this week. We also have revived our Blueprint for Excellence committee, which I'm sure that's been a committee we've had for a while. And this is being a really exciting process. That Blueprint committee was put together pre-COVID. So Mr. Toppington set that up years ago. And it had 3 goals. And one was PLCs, which we have worked very hard on and have good systems in place. One was vertical alignment, which we worked very hard on and have good systems in place. And the final one that the committee had not addressed was child wellness. So we decided to approach that committee a little bit differently this time because instead of a district level committee, we really wanted to take that to each individual site because we're really focusing on child development, mental health, behavior, and that kind of thing. And it's different at each building. The development of the kids is different. So we've met with every building at least once, some of them twice. Each building has set some goals, what they would like to see their building accomplish, and that's everything from really establishing good processes for students who might have needs, whether that's physical needs, mental wellness needs, whatever, or one of the goals is they would like some more professional development, trauma, that kind of thing. So working on that. Also, all of our pre-ACT, no, any of you have sophomores? All of our pre-ACT data is in. It's all been mailed home. Our sophomores got a presentation from the State Board of Regents going over their individual scores. They really enjoyed that. We have presentations coming up in March for 9th and 8th graders. So really excited for the kids to get to see their scores, figure out what they mean, look at their interest inventory, all the things we talked about in the fall. and all the scores were mailed home as well. And then one really exciting thing that I wanted to tell you about in the world of teaching and learning, we offer internships for our high schoolers. They can enroll in an internship program. And we do have a technology internship currently on campus that students can enroll in. We're looking to add 2 more on-campus internships for students for next year. One would be maintenance, so students learning all the areas of maintenance on our campus, which is too many things to name right now. It's a lot of things that they could learn. Really hands-on learning. We want to give kids the opportunity. They don't have to leave. They can stay here and do that. And then we're also looking at developing a teaching internship. So it's a little maybe selfish on our part, hoping to raise some interest in teaching among our students here who might go to college and then come back and teach for us in a few years, which we would love. So questions about any of that?
I do.
Okay.
On the math curriculum, does the math teacher, are you involving all the math teachers in this on the curriculum that they want to teach and everything like that? So
Yes.
they're all on board with what they're wanting?
Yes. We've had representatives from every grade level or every subject as they get a little bit older.
On the pre-ACT, we talked about being able to track and see if there's been progress. When do we expect to see another report?
So after we test in the fall, we should be able to go back and look and see what kind of progress that we've had. We did talk about being able to look at sophomore data from year to year, but even comparing last year's sophomores to this year's sophomores, it's really apples to oranges. You're comparing the same test, but not the same kids, right? So we want to be able to look and see, like, this year's group of 8th graders, how do they do next year in 9th grade? That tracking kids rather than just tracking a test, if that makes sense. So we're excited about that.
Thank you, Kendra.
You bet.
A lot of great stuff. Exciting. Title IX compliance.
We are compliant in Title IX. Nothing to report. Nothing to report.
I did want to add something on that. I was thinking about this earlier on our Title IX stuff. One of the things that has come out of that is that all of our administrators, because of the training that we've had to go through, for reporting, tracking reporting, investigation, and all of that, all of our administrators are absolutely phenomenal whenever there is an issue at how to investigate that issue. Whether it be just student misconduct or teacher misconduct or whatever it is, just documenting and interviewing and pulling information, all of that is absolutely phenomenal. So I think it's kind of an interesting byproduct of all of the training that we've had. It's just people that really know how to do it.
And document.
And document.
Well, I know because of the work we've done, and I know we already have been a leader in other school districts calling and helping and asking for help and so on and so forth. So I appreciate your leadership and you guys being willing to do that.
As a matter of fact, I was on a training with Brandon Carey about a month or so ago, and he was talking about website compliance, like all the things your website needs to have. And there was probably 100 people on that call, and he said, well, just if you want to know what your website should look like for Title IX, go to Oologah and look at theirs. It should look like that. So I did make sure all of ours was still looking good when he said that. And it did. So, okay.
It is very in-depth.
It is.
The links and it's a lot of regulations to it. So thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. James, superintendent's report.
So I'll kind of go quick. Potential bond issue. So we've discussed, hopefully we'll be able to run a bond issue next fall. We haven't met with PSO. They're hoping to have more information about kind of where they're going sometime in the near future. Because that will, what does or doesn't happen around the PSO plant will have an impact on what we do, what we're able to do. So I feel like, and I really want to kind of jump off into this as far as where we go with the bond issue, but I feel like we are going to have to kind of just hang on for a minute until we get more information from them. Otherwise, we're going to head down a path that there's no need to go down, right? So we'll as we get more information from them, we'll continue to work with them as we get more information, as we kind of just work into that. We can kind of see where we're able to go and then what projects we're able to do and that sort of stuff as we move forward. So I think worst case scenario is we start the process of putting together 2 different tracks. One of the things are going well at PSO and one of the things are not going well. And then we'll make that decision whenever it comes time to run that. that. So did meet with an architect just to walk around, kind of look at some of our facilities, look things over. Nothing formal, really, just he took some pictures and was going to kind of create some suggestions on some things that we could do in some different areas, kind of asking about the age of the roof and this kind of stuff, kind of some of the information that you guys were presented last month. And so had that conversation, I got that conversation started. So things will begin to churn and move hopefully over the next 6 months, 8 months. Definitely a year from now, we're going to have to be like in full on, go get it moved. But we're not quite there yet because we don't have all the information we need. I did put finances and projects on there. I did finance them. I'm excited about where we are financially as a district. I think we're in a good place. We'll continue to monitor and adjust as we move forward. We've looked at a lot of how to move people around district-wide to get more bang for a buck out of everybody. Not that we're trying to just squeeze everything we can out of people like a dish rag, but really making the most use of the people that we have. And the biggest project that we've continued to work on right now is the relocation of second grade to the upper elementary from the lower elementary, which we can have some discussion on that here in just a little bit at that agenda item. All of our people, all of our teachers, our admin, our operations guys, I feel like we have a really good plan in place to make that happen because it is ending up being kind of a lot of moving parts, and so we're getting all that pulled together. So things, I feel like things have been going well. We've had a good year this year.
Guys,
Normal stuff to do.
board have any questions? Section 3 is a consent agenda. It is rather robust. These items may be approved by one board motion unless any board member desires to have separate vote on any or all of these items. Included in the consent agenda, item A, discussion and consideration for the approval of the minutes of the following OTPS Board of Education meetings. Special meeting on January 8th of 2024, the regular meeting on January 8th of 2024, and the special meeting on February 6th of 2024. Item B is discussion and consideration for approval of the following warrants and encumbrances, the general fund encumbrances 283, 318. General fund warrants 1732 through 2080. Building fund encumbrances 65 through 77. Building fund warrants 323 through 372. Building bond fund encumbrances 2024 through 38 through 196. Item C is discussion and consideration for approval of financial reports, general fund, building bond funds, and activity funds. Item D is discussion and consideration for the approval of the following activity fund transfers, number 39 through 46. Item E, discussion and consideration for the approval of the following fundraiser requests, number 188 through 192, the High School Student Council, and number 99 through 101, which is OCTA Booster Club fundraisers. Item F, discussion and consideration for the approval of the following out-of-state or overnight field trips: OMS Choir to the Heartland Music Festival in Branson, Missouri on May 4th, OHS Choir to the Lone Star Music Festival in Dallas, Texas from May 10th through the 12th of 2024, and OHS Band to SWASU Jazz Festival in Weatherford, Oklahoma, February 15th and 16th of 2024. And then item G is discussion and consideration of the approval of the OTPS Board of Education Policy CKAF, which is the use of metal detectors. Director, is there anything you want to point out, explain before we go to motion and discussion?
I'm trying to see here. On the fundraiser request, the 99 through 101 OCTA Booster Club. So OCTA is only 99 and 100. That 101, that is the soccer booster club. That soccer one came in late, and I added it on without adding on the soccer piece.
Okay, so gentlemen,
They're still numbered the same.
yes, that's the page you're looking for. It's back in the book, several pages. Okay, so explain that again. I'm sorry about that.
So I put it on the agenda. It states 99 through 101 OCTA Booster Club fundraisers. 99 and 100 is OCTA.
Yeah.
101 is the hat trick soccer, so it's the soccer booster club, not the CTA booster club. That's the most distinction.
Can we take action on that?
We can, it's numbered as 99 through 101.
Okay. Do we need to pull that out and amend it?
I would amend it to state that 101 is hat trick soccer, not OCTA.
Just trying to keep Joe out of jail.
Last thing to point out, I think that board policy, so we have received the wand metal detectors. Contacted OSSBA on their policy. They sent us 2 different policy options. Ran those policy options through our resource officer and through our admin team. And then this is the one that they have. We will discuss that there's obviously some caveats we'll have to discuss on that, on how you deal with different scenarios in using that, like procedures on how we move forward with that. We kind of lean a little bit on law enforcement on the best way to handle that, but we'll make sure that our procedures are in place.
And this is, we currently just have the wand.
Yes.
Is there a discussion about moving to the walkthrough type detectors?
We've discussed it, absolutely. The one that we saw when we went to the TPS school that had like an 8-foot radius, we've talked, and it's portable, stays charged for like 10 hours. We've talked about some of those are very, very expensive. But with some of our safety and security money, I wouldn't be surprised if something we look at maybe the money that we're getting next year. So, because it's portable, we can use it for basketball, football, whatever.
Just the state rule. I mean, it's just very sharp. Okay, I'm going to entertain a motion on the consent agenda. Gentlemen, keep in mind, we can pull out any one item to vote on by itself, and my recommendation would be that we do that on item E.
Do we want to pull it out, or do we just want to?
Can we not amend it as we go?
Feel free. Yeah,
I mean, that's all we're talking about.
you're just adding to it. Yeah, so you can make the motion with the addition to item E. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through G with clarification of the fundraiser request 99 and 100 are OCTA Booster Club fundraisers, and item 101 is the soccer booster hat trick fundraiser.
Is there a second? That's what I mean. You think that covers? Yes. Okay. Is there a second? Okay, Lyle's a second. Is there discussion? Hearing none, vote please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You're welcome. Consent agenda is approved. Section 4 is administrative. Item A is recommendation, consideration, and action on approving the OTPS calendar for the 2024-2025 school year.
Let me go ahead and start talking about
We
this.
can, before, keep in mind, I need a motion and second before we can go to discussion.
So we have, this calendar is different than the ones that we've seen in the past by a little bit. It would mirror more of a calendar that we would have seen maybe 10 years ago. What we've done is kind of started hearing grumblings and kind of hearing discussions about the regulation on distance learning days and how they're used in the schools. And sure enough, it's come around now that there's legislation, Senate Bill 1768, that puts some pretty stringent regulations on how distance learning days are used in the school. You have to show how you have like 5.5 hours of active learning being done by students. And I would contend that there's probably not, that we'd be pretty hard pressed to find any of our classes that do that much work on our distance learning days. We have those built into the calendar. They were here when I got here, and they were built in, from my understanding, primarily as as a tool to keep kids in practice for this distance learning, and then secondly, as a time for teacher collaboration, time for teachers to get together and work and be able to spend more than like a 5-minute lunch break having a conversation about curriculum, about alignment, about math book text, about math book adoption, about those sorts of things. So this creates a space and time for our teachers to have some conversations. And so kind of with all of that information pulled together, what I've tried to do is put together a calendar that honors that time that our teachers can use to collaborate, while at the same time honoring what I feel like will go into law, will be some regulations that's going to end up making it very difficult for schools to have distance learning days. So basically on our calendar, what I've done is I've taken out distance learning. And by doing that, we've added, it does add 4 days to the whole calendar. We took away several of the professional development days that are at the beginning of the year, turned those into the collaboration days as they're kind of marked throughout the school year. And then we've added in, I say we, I'm going to throw Ms. Atkins under the bus because she helped me do it. Then we put in 6 snow days, so that way if we have a snow day or an inclement weather day, that it's truly a snow day and not a distance learning day. So it does, like I said, it does add 4 work days to our teacher calendar, but it's still under the 180 days that was regulated by the state, for those of you that have been around for a day or two. And it does give us 8 more days of in-person learning. So a week and a half extra of our kids being in class, getting hopefully high-quality teaching by our high-quality teachers. So I met with, I kind of put together a really ugly rough draft. I met with our OCTA leadership back in January. Had Ms. Wright, Mr. Matthews look over it, had them take it as they get, because for me, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, we work 12 months, we're here all the time anyway. But I felt like this would kind of give us the best of all the worlds. Took it to OCTA, Ms. Wright, I think, kind of meeting with the teachers, were able to come and ask questions, give feedback. So I got an email with a list of a bunch of questions and feedback. So I addressed that, answered the questions as best I could, left the feedback, kind of gave information on that. We sat back down and pulled, because I think originally there was like 10 extra days. So kind of rearranged that, pulled out some of the PD at the beginning, made some changes as best as could be done, and put together a calendar that I feel like will work. Obviously, we could still tweak it as we move forward, but this is kind of where we are.
Is there a motion on item A?
I would move that we approve the OTPS calendar for the 2024-2025 school year as presented. This sheet.
Is there a second?
I'd like to ask why we can't discuss it before there's a motion. Show me that in Robert's Rules of Order. Because I'm uncomfortable seconding the motion without explanation, without more explanation or asking questions. Because you're asking me to second a motion that I have questions on. I mean, if someone can show me it can't be done, I'm more than happy to do it. We can discuss it and I can go to another.
And I'm not a Robert Rule of Order, it's just kind of what I was handed. So,
Do what now?
I say, I don't.
Well, I mean, where did you get that information at? That we can't.
I mean, that's what we've done is like discussion comes after
Okay.
motion and second. So
If there is a reason for it, I'm more than happy with because I have questions.
sure, and I'm not trying to limit discussion in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Certainly, want you guys to do that. I just want to make sure that we.
There's nothing that I know about in regulation or in law.
And I don't even know that by law we have to be governed by Robert's rules. So it's just what we've adopted as policy. So
It's procedure, not so much policy.
yeah.
So we're
When you guys want to make a second, or do we want to just go to discussion?
I'd like a discussion first before we approve. That's okay.
Now, I would be concerned if you do have, if that's a policy, is it a policy or a procedure?
It's not a policy.
Okay.
Okay, is there discussion?
OCTA, you talk about that. How many members are on that out of the school?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you said you went to the OCTA to ask about the calendar. I'm just trying to figure out how many teachers was able to look at the calendar and approve the calendar and everything.
So we negotiate with OCTA. We don't negotiate with individual teachers.
So the union.
I'm sorry.
OCTA is the union, correct?
Correct. So that is their government body. Because as a district, we can't get into individual negotiations.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking.
Right. That's what I'm saying. We can't negotiate, but the board has agreed, right, to negotiate with OCTA. And so that is the kind of the governing body of the teachers, I guess, as it would be. And so I have a book that's our negotiated agreement that's approved by the board. And within that, it states that the association will have input into the calendar. And so that's what I did. I took it to them, and it says the association may provide input to the superintendent by February 1st regarding the school calendar for the ensuing school year. The superintendent will consider the association's suggestions before making the recommendation to the board.
How has this been done in the past?
How has this been done?
How has the calendar been?
From what I understand, there would be a couple of different options that would have different start date, different start times taken, and be voted on whichever one people wanted, and then go on from there.
The OCTA association teachers or all teachers?
It would have been handed over to OCTA. I don't know how they handle it. Again, I don't get in their business, right? I mean, that's like when they have their meetings.
Yeah, they're not going to invite you.
I don't get invited.
I don't get invited either. They don't want me.
If the question is, why didn't we send this out to a vote of people? Because, first of all, I followed what our board-approved negotiated agreement is with our OCTA membership, right? And I followed that. Now, because this has come up from some teachers, if they don't like how that's done, then they need to go to the OCTA and say, hey, we need to negotiate this into the agreement so that it's done differently. That's the way things work. If we don't like how the board does something, then the board needs to pass a policy that it's done differently. If someone has a problem, they need to come to me and say, hey, can we have our professional days on Wednesdays instead of Fridays, or we don't want them at all? Okay, great. Take that to OCTA and we'll talk about it.
Was all teachers had the ability to see this calendar? Or you just telling
It
me
was
that?
given to OCTA. OCTA.
So
it's up
you
to
don't know
them.
that? You don't know if it was?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So it's up to OCTA to give it to all teachers, not just the union teachers.
Again, I'm not OCTA.
So we need to speak to the OCTA
Leadership, yeah.
So
No, I'm just
I get where some of this is coming from. Again, my door is always open. And if someone has a question, they can come and ask. And I sit down and explain it. Here's the deal. I just put together a calendar that I felt like.
I actually like it. To be honest, I'm not.
And I followed the
My concern is the response that I've got back here, and maybe you're right, they should have went to OCTA. But the thing is I'm understanding that all teachers didn't get to see it.
So I'm going to sound really harsh to teachers. I apologize. It's not my job to go ask every teacher if they like the things that I do.
No,
My job is to follow
I get that.
procedures that we have set forth.
How did the policy, or how did the procedure change this time? Is you know?
Because I went and read the policy that we have.
So
in
you
place.
thought that?
Yeah.
And is that what you have done in the past?
I'm sorry?
Is that you just always in the past you just presented it to the OCTA?
Yes.
But I don't think we've changed the rhythm of the schedule for years.
No.
I mean, we've copy and pasted.
Yeah, like your Christmas break may start on Wednesday instead of Monday. But, I mean, literally, since I've been, the calendars I've seen have all been virtually the same.
Generic.
And I still, like, if someone has a great suggestion or thought or idea, even an individual teacher that's not a member of OCTA, to come and talk to me about it. And I'll bring this back to the board and reapprove it. We have that option until August 6th, right? Well, even after that.
Yeah, August the 6th.
Yeah, I mean, we can adjust our calendar at any time.
This is not recorded that we're required to be turned in the state.
It is, yes, but we can any adjustment we make, we just have to notify the state.
Once it's approved,
Mike?
we'll change it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
My biggest concern is the difference in how it was put out to the teacher, I guess. And I'm not blaming that on you. I
And
think
to be
you
honest,
explained it.
my intention primarily, because again, our very first draft was a really rough draft, and I would still consider this a little bit of a rough draft, but I wanted to get this, again, I can't be sent, if I send something to our teachers every time we're working on something, people would get so confused as to what's happening that we would never be able to move forward. So my thought is that we present this to the board with this huge change if we're basically getting rid of distance learning days, but we're keeping these other days built in, get this approved, and then we can present this to the teacher and then we can get some feedback. But, I don't mind making a change to the calendar. I don't care. I'm going to be here anyway, right?
Well, you and I had the discussion when I come in, you was working on it that day, and we talked about distance days.
So again, this is, people get kind of twisted up because I didn't go ask everybody, but I can't. Because if I go say, hey, what do you think about this? Then all of a sudden everyone thinks this is exactly like the gospel. And so this is where we are.
So I guess what I'm understanding is in the past, the OCTA presented that to all the teachers.
I'm assuming so.
Well,
I mean,
whether the former superintendent followed the agreed upon policy or not, I wouldn't Don Robert I can answer to that. All Dr. Wilkins did was go with the piece of paper he had.
Well, no, I agree. And if he hadn't done it in the past, that's what I understand now because it fell upon, OCTA was the one who evidently must have passed it out in the past.
So 15 years here, this has been done a lot of different ways. There's never really been like a super consistent way it's been done. Sometimes teachers have seen it, sometimes they haven't, sometimes they voted, sometimes they haven't. Sometimes we've had a committee, sometimes we haven't.
But when you get used to something going one way and there's a change all of a sudden without an explanation, I think that's where the concern comes in.
Yeah, but I don't think we've changed. I think it's been years since we haven't copy and pasted pretty much the same calendar.
No. What I'm saying is all the teachers, I'm understanding from a lot of teachers in the past, even in the past few years, they got to see the calendar before it came before the board. That's the change. I'm not talking about changing the policy of the way you've done it. I'm talking about changing the procedure for the teachers to get to see it.
So I personally appreciate the intentional collaboration in this calendar because we spend a lot of time talking about curriculum development, handing 8th graders to the high school building, handing 5th graders to the middle school. I love that that's a priority in here. I don't
think you're missing the point. I'm not opposed to the calendar. I like the calendar too.
Right. No, I want to. Yeah. So since we're in discussion of calendar,
Lyle, I took this to OCTA. Because they are the teacher representative, right? So with the feeling, with the thought that they would go get that, and they would disperse it out however they do, get that feedback and bring it back, right? So, and they said, hey, we're meeting with the teachers on Friday. We're meeting with the teachers on Friday, and we'll send you any feedback and questions we get. Great. So I get, after Friday, I get an email. Here's a list of questions and feedback from teachers. Right, so I'm assuming that OCTA has done what they said they were going to do by dispersing that to teachers. Now, if they didn't disperse that to teachers, if they didn't do those things,
that's not your responsibility.
That's my responsibility. I went to people that it's my responsibility to go to, and I did my part. And if they didn't do their part, then
if it is their part, maybe that was their intention,
right?
But I know. Okay, so that brings up an interesting thought for me. OCTA was going to talk to their teachers meet with the teachers on Friday.
It was a distance learning day.
Okay,
so yes,
that's the day they're going to do it. Super Bowl weekend. We're going to get response back.
It wasn't. It wasn't this Friday. It's been.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You received a email with questions that you responded to on the calendar.
Yes.
So teachers saw it. Now, I'm not saying every teacher saw it, but that's, I mean, I'm probably speaking in defense of him, but
Oh, he
Whether-
doesn't need a defense.
whether those teachers are a part of the, because we have teachers who are not a part of that, correct? Correct. Yeah, so maybe they didn't distribute that. That's not, again, that's not my business, not his business.
No, no.
So, right, so our policy says he's got to work with the OCT.
Yes, and I get that, and I appreciate that. Maybe, you know, and what is our relationship to the OCTA?
As a board,
I mean, do we have a right to talk to them? Can we ask them questions? Or as an individual?
you can, it gets,
I can't do it as a board, you can't, three of us do it.
right, for sure. No,
Yeah.
for sure, we have the right to talk to you.
Right.
Obviously,
And I have no idea who they are. I mean, I'm not looking.
So your questions are more about how did you get to this calendar, not the dates and not the...
No, I like the calendar. My question is when I have several people call me that says this is not the way it's been done in the past, that's my concern.
So my question is the main issue that in the past, two calendars have been drawn up and say, which one do you like better? But then this year, one was brought up and instead of saying, which one do you like better, it was, let me know if changes need to be made. I mean, is that kind of the major difference? I mean, have we put out two calendars before and then, you know, hey, this is kind of our two ideas or three or however many there were.
Right.
And let us know which one you like better. But then this year it was, hey, here's the idea, let me know what needs to be changed. I mean,
right, because the one that I sent them was different than this, right? Like I said, it had like 10 extra days, and it was kind of ugly. Like I said, it was a rough draft. And like, hey, give me your feedback on this. But took that feedback, we sat down and go, okay, how can we make this better? Take out some of those days. clean
one
it
was
up.
provided to make changes to rather than two or three to be voted on
Correct.
as preference.
I feel like, yes.
Providing one gives them more opportunity to changing things instead of trying to select one or two. I'm not, that's,
Yeah, but that's how we keep 150 teachers happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you start taking polls on, should we go this school Friday, this Friday?
no, I think, that's not where I'm at. I'm at the proceed, how it was handled is what I'm at. And that's fine. Like I say, I have no problem. I do have some questions I want to answer. But I think you've answered the questions as to why, is how it happened, and I think it's not with you. I think it was
And if
downstream.
OCT feels like that we need to do something different next year, I don't care. If the other two calendars, let them vote, that's fine.
Well, I mean, the way it sounds, it's up to the OCCA.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I would second.
Ultimately, it's our vote. I mean, quite frankly, we're the ones that set the calendar. I mean, every teacher in the room can be pissed. It is our job to set the calendar for the school district to do what we feel is best.
Remember this brick calendar?
So I would second the motion. I'll go ahead and second the motion so we can have discussion. Well, I've got questions on the calendar,
Okay.
just for information.
So I'll second the calendar, so discussion. Joe, you have questions?
Is there, this is just from a personal parent and knowing other parents, like on the snow days, we take off the last few Fridays, and I know every school does it, we've done it 100 years. Why can we not take a full week off at the bottom of the year? Is that a possibility where parents, instead of trying to find a babysitter or something for their children on a Friday, why can't we just do it at the end of the week? That way it's already okay. At the end of the year, I got a week off, so I'm gonna need daycare for their start of summer now.
So
that a week early.
for sure. So the hard part with that is that you set graduation. So you're going to end up having kids graduate May 15th, and then they're going to have to come back to school that full next week. And you're going to have teachers that plan all their end of the year parties and all their end of the year stuff then, and then they're going to have to come back for a week after that. So that's why I've always done the Friday thing, because that way you can set, here's the end of your school year, and everybody can plan their vacations, because if people start planning vacations on, that week, and then all of a sudden, well, now we're going to have to get into that week, that's why I've always done it that way.
It's done that way at every school.
But that's why. No, and I understand. Like, yeah, if you could just say, all right, every day that we miss for snow, we're going to add one to the end. Well, now you're going to end up changing your graduation date. You're going to end up changing all of your curriculum stuff at the end. It's easier just to...
And then on the professional development days, Was that remote learning days this past year? So you're using the remote learning days for your professional development days, correct?
So we're changing.
Because I don't like remote days, don't get me wrong.
For sure. So we're changing the remote days. We're doing away with them. So we had, last year we had 165. We had 165 days. 8 of those days were remote. Now we have 165 days. None of those days are remote. Okay, so all of them are in school except for our 2 parent-teacher conferences for that. So it adds 8 in-school days, and then we moved some of the PD days from the front to kind of scatter them along. The January PD date was already there, so we are keeping that as a PD/teacher collaboration day. And then we add in a couple of more collaboration days throughout. So basically, we're kind of converting the distance learning days to the teacher collaboration days.
So those are not remote learning days at all?
Correct.
So those are just
Teachers, the kids are not here, teachers are here.
and so it just adds more days at the end of the year, right?
Like I said, we've added about 3 or 4 more days to the calendar.
But we're still under the state minimum.
We're still under the state. We meet the state minimum, which is 165, but we're still
Correct.
under
Right.
what used to be 175.
Yeah.
So we're still under that number.
Okay, professional days has been around for a long time. What do you, teacher collaboration, what do we envision that seeing?
So this is what we've done this year on the distance learning days. So we'll plan our PLCs, which is all of our grade level teams getting together. We'll have our people from lower elementary, people from the upper elementary meet to work on vertical alignment. I don't know, Sarah, you could, those kinds of things. So you have extended periods of time for your teachers to get together and work on collaboration for curriculum and instruction.
It also allows principals and administrators to hold all their committee meetings, staff meetings, where teachers were used to have to stay after school for all of that because there's no meeting time during the day or the week. Now every staff meeting, every committee meeting, anything like that could be held during the day. Teachers aren't being required to stay after school. So
Well, you have teachers that are coaches that didn't get to make those after
yes,
school
or
meetings.
bus drivers, right?
As bus
So
drivers.
everything can be within the day.
I love the collaboration part of that, being intentional of making sure departments have time to work on. We're so busy doing education, we don't have time to work on it. You know what I'm saying? And even go back to professional development days, we have professionals in our district that could lead PD to help all across the board. So I personally appreciate the intentionality of giving our teachers time to get in the room and collaborate and talk through things. The distance learning thing, I mean, you guys were ahead of that before the legislature. I mean, they start session, and that's one of the things that pops quickly, is that they're going to do away with distance learning days. So it doesn't impact me. My daughter drives herself to school, but there's not a lot. I mean, the distance learning is rather distant on those days. So,
It doesn't change when you name it remote learning, it's still remote.
it's still, yeah.
So would the site principals be responsible for setting up those meetings and those teams?
What we've discussed is our plan is to do kind of a organized across the district schedule, but how that's done within each building will be up to the building principals. But we do want some uniformity as far as what's being done at each meeting to make sure that it isn't just kind of willy-nilly people running around, whatever. So there will be some work with our administrative team to make sure that those are done, which we did that this year to make sure that there was intentionality across the district, but even to kind of ramp that up a little bit.
So I'm assuming it's like fall break and those kind of things, all extracurricular activities still go on even though kids are not in school.
Correct.
So we have 6 snow days built in, is that correct? Yes, sir. Do you know how many we use per year, roughly?
We have not used more than 6 since I've been here.
Yeah, no, I mean, it seems like it's always been in the 3 to 4 range. So some of those Fridays early on will be in school. If we take a snow day
Yes.
in February, when is testing in there?
April. So actually being in school like on the 4th, 11th, and 25th would actually be beneficial.
Right, because you're testing.
Yes.
Yeah. But, I mean, from more than a hunch, we will use more than 2 if not 3 snow. Sometimes it's just cold weather days, because it's hard to get the buses out when it's minus 9 degrees. Any other questions, discussion?
I hate this too slow, but
No, for sure.
I'm happy.
No, I want to clarify.
And I think just kind of for the record, that if any of our teachers or administrators have questions or that have another idea on a better way to move some of these days or whatever, again, I'm not married to this calendar. I'm looking to how can we improve this and make it better.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. Any other further discussion? All right, you are voting to approve the OTP calendar for the 2024-2025 school year. Vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Item A has been approved. Item B, recommendation, consideration, and action on approving the relocation of the second grade from the Oologah Lower Elementary to Oologah Upper Elementary beginning school year 2024-2025. The new configuration of the elementary sites will be as follows. Oologah Lower Elementary will be pre-kindergarten through first grade. Oologah Upper Elementary will be second grade through 5th grade.
So I contacted the State Department to find out what exactly needs to be done to make this happen, because obviously through the State Department, we have our sites are set, like for accreditation and those sorts of things. So one of the things that we do have to have board action on this. After that's done, I will present the minutes of this meeting to the State Department of Education. They'll make that change, and once we get that change, we'll have to present that to some of our technology, like our student information system and stuff, to allow us to make that move. And then we'll be kind of registered with the State Department with our new grade configurations for next year as we move to the next year. So this is just approving kind of what we're doing, but getting it on the record for the state.
Do you have any concerns any new concerns since the last time this was scheduled?
No, we've met with our admin team, we've met with operations again, and our teachers, everybody seems excited about it. I feel like and we have a plan with technology on how we're going to do that, with the plan with our maintenance and with everybody on how everything's going to be done. So,
Is it lunchroom, is that still the high school lunchroom too?
Yes.
So we won't have any issues with the younger kids in the high school and intermixture with
No,
that?
so we will run second kind of parallel with 3rd grade. We're going to run second through one side. They'll get there a little bit before 3rd grade. And then I think we're running 3rd grade into the storm shelter, so we're buying some tables. So 3rd grade will go into storm shelter, and then 2nd grade will be out in the big area. But they will be out by the time high school comes.
So we won't have no issues with the smaller kids. That's why I'm looking at you.
We talked through all of that. 2nd and 3rd grade, I think we talked about 2nd and 3rd grade eating together and 5th grade actually being in the storm shelter.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
But even, the jump from 2nd to 5th grade is big and drastic.
Right.
So we've worked through all of these things with the library and the lunchroom. We've really talked a lot about that. So that's been very...
That's what going to be my other question in the library, because I know we're going to intermix the 2nd grader and the 5th graders, and you're right, that's a big difference between the two. And I
It is a
want to
big
make sure we
difference.
wouldn't have no issues with any of that. So.
Yeah, that's I appreciate you bringing that up. The schedule that we have for library allows for one grade level to be in there at a time. Granted, the kids can come check out books throughout the day, but Mrs. Wright is fabulous at, monitoring them and keeping an eye on that. And definitely with the addition of the middle school library, that will be huge with 2nd grade coming over.
So you don't see any issues with them coming over there?
I don't. We're all excited and up for the challenge, and I think it's going to be great having 2nd close to 3rd grade. Going from 2nd to 3rd grade is such a big transition, so now having them in the same building, I think is going to be wonderful. And 2nd and 3rd really go hand in hand in a lot of ways. So I think it's going to be great.
Thank you.
So it helps your traffic flow lower, significantly. You're going 2nd grade, drop off and pickups.
But it makes it worse.
But it makes it worse than the younger.
It's on the other side of that building.
So you're partying. Fire partying.
We have continued those conversations, talked about how can we pull some different grades maybe over to this side, maybe have a pickup through the middle school parking lot. Just kind of, it's an ongoing conversation. How can we pull pull those people apart and do some different things.
Part of it is we piecemeal this campus together. You know, the whole entire campus used to be the frontage, you know, was the carpet and gym. That was preschool all the way down through, and so traffic flow was.
And there was discussion with the architect that I met with about how do we, about different traffic flows. We're still a couple of years.
Have you talked with the DOT or anything like that, like how we could do the highway differently? I mean, my other problem I have is, of course, I'll worry about that area. I'm probably.
We still got stuff to do. Okay. Entertain a motion on item B.
Move that we approve the relocation of the second grade from the Oologah Lower Elementary to the Oologah Upper Elementary beginning school year 2024-2025 with the configuration as stated. Pre-K through first and lower, second through fifth and upper.
Second.
Discussion? Vote please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Item B is approved. Item C, recommendation, consideration, and action on approving an E-rate contract with Bolt for internal connection work to be done in the school year 2024-2025.
So E-rate is a federal program. It provides money to entities, schools, libraries, etc., for internet connectivity. This is so through our E-rate money that we'll be receiving this year, we will have a contract with Bolt to redo our fiber network within the district from building to building. Because as of right now, it's kind of, again, it kind of is piecemeal together. They will come in and completely redo our fiber infrastructure. It's pretty expensive, but again, we get money in from federal government for that. So Bolt will do all the work. Our guys were going to try to do that themselves this summer. So they're super excited to not have to do that. And again, it is an E-rate contract, so if by chance something falls through, then it's not on us. It is an E-rate contract. So, I mean, E-rate's been around forever, not forever, but for a really, really long time, so there should not be any issues. But it is a contract that both redo our internet connectivity within the district.
It's really paid for by federal funds.
It is paid, yes.
It's not general.
Correct, and it's not even, like with our federal money, we have to pay for it and then we reimburse. But this goes, they bill directly to grid. It doesn't have to come through us.
Take action not on item C.
Make a motion to approve E-rate contract for Bolt for the internal connection work to be done at school year 24-25.
Second. Discussion? Vote please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Item C is approved. Item D, recommendation, consideration, and action on approving the new activity sub-accounts, girls wrestling number 817 and boys wrestling 807.
So just new sub-accounts for those sports, obviously with girls wrestling being a new sport, relatively new, they're creating their own activity accounts, and I assumed the boys had their own, but I guess not. So this will give them their own activity sub-accounts for fundraising, etc.
Entertain action on item D.
Move approve item D, girls wrestling 817 and boys wrestling 807.
Discussion? Hearing none, vote please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Item D is approved. Item E, recommendation, consideration, action on approving agreement with Ruth Kelly Studio for the school pictures for the 2024-2025 school year.
So Ruth Kelly Studios, same group that we've used for a really long time to do our pictures. Contract is basically the same as it always has been. Recommend that we approve that.
Entertain action on item E.
Move to approve item E, contract with Ruth Kelly Studios for the school year 24-25.
Second.
Discussion? Vote please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Item E is approved. Item F, recommendation, consideration, action on approving a contract for employee evaluation system for Oologah-Talala, SAS, and NCREL evaluation systems for the 2024-2025 school year.
So these are the systems that we use to do evaluations for support personnel, teachers, and principals. I recommend that we approve this contract with them. it's software that we use through that group.
Action on item F.
Move that we approve contract with employee evaluation system for OPTLE, SES, and the Grow evaluation system for the 24-25 school year.
Second. Discussion? Hearing none, vote please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Item F is approved. Item G, recommendation consideration of action on the 2023-2024 audit contract and engagement letter with Bledsoe, Hewitt, and Johnson.
So that's the group that was just reported. They do our audits. If you'll notice the contract, it is the contract that's sent out by the State Department of Education that we have to use. We don't have to use that audit firm, but it is the contract that we have to provide. So I feel like this group does a great job on our audits, and not only that, but they're very responsive. If we have a question about an issue, or if we have, hey, how do we handle this, what do we do with this, they're really quick to respond and give us really good guidance on how to do it, so we stay compliant in all of our transactions.
I move that we approve the 2023-24 audit contract and engagement letter with Bledsoe, Hewitt, and Johnson.
Second.
Discussion?
Is there a cost on this? There's nothing showing on this. What the cost is?
Yes, there is. But
Oh, did I miss it?
I don't know what it is, now that you say that. Yeah, no, I don't know. I can find out.
I'm just curious, but more anything.
No, that's a great question.
Anything that I've ever been dealt with is with audits. I was very surprised that he was on the phone and not here, because I would imagine it's the cost of them doing it is much higher than any board I've sat on.
Right.
I've always had audits presented in person. I was just kind of
I need
by that.
When there's a lengthy list of issues, well, I've never had a lengthy list of issues, but I've had it here, but then I've also done
It's different for me.
Yeah. Our last several audits have been, for last year and the year before last, were similar to this one. They don't even find any incidental issues. And so I think with that, I think that's kind of what they call it.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Okay. Any other discussion? Vote please. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Item G is approved. Item H, fall under administrative? Or does it?
It does. It falls under administrative.
Item H is presentation of superintendent's recommendation for the dismissal of Sarah Butterworth. Vote to schedule a meeting date, time, and place, and to direct that copy of the superintendent's recommendation along with the notice of due process rights be mailed and/or hand-delivered to this vote.
I'm going to disperse to each of you a folder, and in that folder is 2 pieces of paper. What I would like for you to do is read that information on that page quietly to yourself. Whenever everyone has satisfactorily read that, I will need a motion regarding this, and I will take those folders back up at the end of the vote for this motion.
Board of Education, I have received the superintendent's recommendation for the dismissal of Sarah Butterworth. I move that a copy of the superintendent's recommendation be mailed and or hand-delivered to Ms. Butterworth, along with a notice letter advising her of her rights, and that a hearing will be scheduled before the Board of Education for the 25th of the day of March 2024 at 4 o'clock p.m. in Oologah-Talala School District 10700 South Highway 169, Oologah, Oklahoma 74053, at which time the board will consider whether to accept or reject the superintendent's recommendation for the dismissal of Ms. Butterworth.
Is there a second? Second. Vote, please. Yes. 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 It's approved. Section 5, I can't see. Section 5 is personnel. Item A is a proposed executive session to discuss resignations, hiring personnel and/or extra-duty assignments pursuant to 25 OS Section 307B1 and 7 of the Open Meeting Law. Items to be discussed are the evaluation of superintendent, the superintendent's contract, rehiring an assistant superintendent for the 2024-2025 school year, and resignations. Hiring Kevin Hope, Kelly Dixon, Lori Morsi, Keisha Bell, Brady Spain, Drew Dixon, Richard Fisher, Jeff Buck, Sarah Noble, Sarah Hutchison, Rick Rogers, Cindy Lovelace, Leslie Dunn, Dan McGuire, upper elementary part-time dean students for 2024-2025 school year, high school all-ed teacher for the remainder of 2023 school year.
Move to enter to executive session.
Second. Vote, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Joe, we are in. Gentlemen, we will be going back to
presentation ever work?
As a matter of fact, I did. And I want to show it to you, but
So it must be one of us.
that's what I said, but I think
Say it worked till you got here, Lyle, is all I'm saying.
it did actually work, but.
Get rid of that computer and your number 2 pencil and a big cheap tablet.
I'm with you.
All right, let's do item B, acknowledge that the board has returned to open session. Item C is the statement of the board president of executive session and its compliance. While we were in executive session, joined by likely Robert Calvon, Ice Spring Kellogg, and Joe Coster, and moments we were joined by Superintendent Dr. David Wilkins. There was no action taken, or it was taken while we were in executive session. Item D is vote to accept or not accept the superintendent's evaluation. I would entertain a motion on item D.
Move that we accept the superintendent's evaluation.
Second. Okay, vote please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Item D is approved. Dr. Wilkins, there's your evaluation. Item E is vote to accept or not accept the superintendent's contract.
Move to accept item E, the superintendent's contract.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Item E is approved. Dr. Wilkins, congratulations. Big day in a man's life. You're like buying a Tesla. Item F, motion and vote to employ or not to employ. Oh, here we go. Vote to employ or not to employ Kendra Atkins as the assistant superintendent for the 2024-2025 school year.
I would move that we employ Kendra Atkins as the assistant superintendent for the 2024-25 school year.
Vote please.
Yes.
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 Got a quarter on the flip. Yes.
I said yes, too.
Thank you.
It was a give and take there for a
No
minute.
chocolate for you next time. I'll
Well, Dr. Wilkins turned gray. Item G is a motion and vote to approve or not to approve the hiring of the following administrators for the 2024-2025 school year. Principal Kevin Hogan, Kelly Dixon, Hillary Morrissey, is that how you say Hillary?
Yes.
Okay, and Keisha Bell.
Move that we approve the hiring of the administrators for the 2024-2025 school year. The principals Kevin Hogue, Kelly Dixon, Hillary Morrissey, and Keisha Bell.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Item H is motion and vote to approve or not approve the hiring of the following directors for the 2024-2025 school year. Brady Despain, Drew Dixon, Richard Fisher, Jeff Cluck, Sarah Noble, and Sherry Hutchison.
Move to approve and accept item H, the directors for the 2024-2025 school year. Brady Spain, Drew Dixon, Richard Fisher, Jeff Cluck, Sarah Noble, and Sherry Hutchison.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Item H is approved. Item I, motion and vote to approve or not approve the central office employees as listed. Brianna Rogers, Cindy Lovelace, Leslie Donovan, and Dan McGuire.
Move that we approve the central office employees as listed. Brianna Rogers, Cindy Lovelace, Leslie Donovan, Dan McGuire.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Item I is approved. Item J, vote to accept any resignations tendered since posting the agenda.
There are none.
Okay. Item K, motion to vote to employ or not employ the recommended applicants for the positions listed below the upper elementary part-time dean of students for the 2024-25 school year, and the high school alternative education teacher for the remainder of the 2023-2024 school year. Dr. Wilkins, your recommendations.
We recommend Shane Doyle for the Dean of Students position and Ginger Reimer for the high school alternative education position for the remainder of this year.
Entertain a motion on item K.
Move that we employ the recommended applicant, upper elementary part-time dean of students for the 2024-2025 school year, Shane Doyle, and high school alternative education teacher for the remainder of the school year 2023-2024, Ginger Reimer.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Item K is approved. Section 5 in business, there is none.
Section 6.
Or 6, sorry.
No, I think our new business.
Section 7, I would entertain a motion and vote to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
We are adjourned.